Hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Coins Monster. What's up, guys? How you all doing today? Thank you for taking the time to come and watch my video. Now, I have a few key updates for you. Okay, what I see on the charts personally, and where I think Bitcoin could go. Now, before I jump into it, I'm going to briefly summarize what I said in the previous videos and in my trading group as well. Okay, so where I could see the price go bottom. All right. Now, there's a link in the description below for my trading group. Please join in. The community is absolutely brilliant. Every single person is very helpful, they're very kind. You're going to love it in there. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel so you can be notified either when I go live or when I release new content. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, so in the previous video I mentioned Bitcoin has broken key level of support that it held for over a year and a half. Alright, now I went back to check the dates, and it has been literally since January of 2021, and it broke it down with force on 511th day. Okay, so just under 2 years it broke down the support. All right, now why do I say with force? Well, this is what you need to see. When you see a candle like this break down the support and closes the weekly below 200 MA, well, it's got enough force, which is why we saw this massive red candle coming down all the way to $17,600. Okay, now the second thing I mentioned for you guys was the fact that the price could actually hit 16,500, which was one of the key levels, and 13,500, which was the second key level that we should be looking for. Now, price did not come down to 16,500, but it was damn close. Okay, 17,605 was where the price bounced from. All right, so it's pretty damn close, but it was coming. Okay, it was definitely gonna come. Now, take a look at something which is the Fibonacci key levels. Now, this is one of the reasons how I found out the price was kind of going to bounce. Okay, from around about this area. That's at 16.5k. That was my level, but the Fibonacci 0.886 is exactly right onto the wick where the price is bounced from. Okay, so this TA is no joke. Now, what do I see happening in the future for Bitcoin? Well, first thing, I think this could be a very well temporary bottom. Okay, now temporary bottom, I mean we could see a rally in the next week, and we'll see how the next week closes. But first off, for today, I think there's only 3 hours left. Well, yeah, literally 2 hours 59 minutes left for the weekly candle to close. We have to see where this weekly candle closes, and how it closes is very important. Okay, now in the previous videos I said look at the back, look back at 2015, 2018. Whenever the price has closed below the 200 moving average, it has bounced and gone back to test it. Okay, now it's very difficult for it to close above it, but it is manageable. It takes a bit of time. Okay, now as we can see here, the price in 2018 closed 2 weeks below, and then in one red candle it took it all back. It hit the 200 moving average but closed below it, and then retested, and that was the bear market. Okay, back in 2015 it doesn't go that far. Okay, because the 200-day moving average was not quite available yet. But if we take a closer look on the 3-day chart, it will give us more and more info. Okay, there we go. Okay, So back in 2015, it closed below, was way below the 200-day moving average, but the price bounces to go back and test it, bounces, and eventually breaks it through. So this is how we find out what Bitcoin is going to do. Now, I do expect a bounce on Bitcoin, which is why I assumed there was going to be most likely 16.5k was most likely going to be the temporary bottom before we actually see a rally. Okay, now this is a relief rally, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it's going to go up to 100k, which is definitely impossible for it to do from here, a massive V-shaped recovery, mainly because the global markets are not bullish at all. Okay, they have a bearish trend, so you gotta keep that in mind. All right, bearish trend on global markets, that is going to affect cryptocurrency, and that's why if the global markets have a bearish trend, Bitcoin is going to have a bearish trend, which is what currently is. Hence, it's not going to go into a V-shaped recovery like it did back in C19. All right, so the price, most likely, what will happen is going to go back. If it does push up, if it does have a rally, it can go back up to test the 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 27,000 and change. Okay, so that is what we could see in the coming week. Now also, that would depend, very important, on the S&P. Okay, the S&P is currently bouncing off the 200-day moving average on the weekly chart, and there is a gap. There is a gap right here in between 3,900 and 3,850 points. Okay, so we have to see how these markets open up. We're in a holiday weekend, so it might just be Tuesday, but we have to see how these markets open up. Usually what happens is they do go and fill the gaps. Okay, they do go and test it and they fill the gaps. So it might not go and fill it up next week. It might just come back down and then have a rally. So it all depends. Okay, it really just depends. Now it's very tricky. It is very tricky to see something like this, but honestly, we just have to wait it out. Okay, you have to wait it out with patience, because like I said in the previous videos, is right here, this indicator is still marking that it has strength to the downside. Okay, to the downside. The ADX is still pending positive, and the red hill is still not yet complete. Okay, still not yet complete. Now we need this red hill to kind of grow, okay, a little bit more, so it can form a bullish divergence. But that weekly chart is for monthly, a few weeks, a few months. Okay, so it's not gonna go up in a straight line. It can just accumulate. Okay, if this is the bottom, it can just accumulate right there for a couple of weeks, maybe even 2 months, and then have a rally. Now you all know my theory. By fall, there is a chance we could see a rally. So this can just accumulate here for 2 months, and then by fall we see a rally. Okay, now I cannot give you exact targets because we don't know where it's going to close up at and how it's going to perform. We need more data. Okay, I definitely need more price action to be able to say what's going to happen. Now the daily chart is still, to me, screaming like there is a bit of sell pressure. Okay, now take a look at this. You got, before last pump that Bitcoin had, there was bullish divergence. Okay, and that bullish divergence was right up in here. There. Okay, that was the bullish divergence. It went up all the way from 33,000 to 47. Okay, that's what it did. That's what it did, 42% rise. Now, could we see a 42 to 50% rise in here, and where will that take us at? Okay, that would take us approximately around 26 to 27k, which was the target on the weekly, exactly where the 200-day moving average is on the weekly. Okay, so it is possible. It's actually sitting at 26,800 and 27,000, around about there somewhere. So there is confluence. Okay, but now what I wanted to show you on the daily chart is this. Okay, last time there was a bullish divergence. This time there isn't. Red hill, every single red hill is bigger than the previous one, which means the sell pressure is actually quite high still. But now why I'm thinking we could get a temporary bounce, well, something called a bullish Gartley. Okay, now this is why I think we could have a nice rally up, but it will not be towards 100k. It will only go, this is the daily chart, so it will only go back to retest the 200-day moving average on the weekly and see if it's possible that we can close above it. Now we need strength. Global markets are not suggesting there is enough strength. Currently is fighting to remain above 220k. Even if it closes above 20k, there is no guarantee it's not going to come down. Okay, so be patient and just make sure that you have your stop losses and entries, or at bare minimum that you can afford to lose. Okay, remember, I'm not a financial advisor and this is in no way investment recommendation. I'm simply giving you all the info for education purposes so you can make an informed decision. Okay, that is what I'm working on. Now, monthly chart, it's still not pretty, guys. It is still definitely not pretty. Okay, current month has closed with force below the 55 moving average. To me, that is key. Okay, 55 moving average is where price usually bounces from, or is where it usually holds. Like in the bear market of 2018, 2019, COVID, it actually bounced back up off of the 55 moving average. Same thing here in 2014, 2015. So this is a pretty strong level. Now currently it's breaking it and it has a lot of legs to the downside. Okay, that's sitting at 24k. So you might not even get to 26, 27. You might just get rejected by the monthly on 24. So you never know. Just be patient. Okay, now studying the monthly chart, it's still pretty rough to understand. Okay, now if I use the monthly chart for the Fibonacci's and stuff, there's still a bit of leg down. Okay, to about 16,000, the 0.886 fib, or maybe for where it broke out from to retest the trend line, it can't even go to 12,500. So there's, time will tell. Okay, currently having a hard time closing above or remaining above 20k. So we'll see how this weekly closes, and the next week will tell us more. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, personally, if you know from my channel, I'm not a big fan of waiting to buy, okay, the last dip, because I'm never going to get the exact pricing. So I do have a little bit of ETH and I do have a little bit of DOT. Okay, but my stops are placed strategically, so I lose the bare minimum if the market turns sideways, like I mentioned to you last time. I bought a little bit of ETH around about there. It dropped another, Bitcoin dropped another 22%, so Ethereum dropped about 30%. I just bought a little bit lower. I got stopped out and then used that liquidity to buy a little bit lower, and now it's heading up. So this is the best way to preserve capital and not miss any opportunities, in my humble opinion. Okay, it's not, remember, not financial advice, just my humble opinion. So alright guys, that is it for today. Right now, remember, weekly close will tell us a lot more. Okay, the indicators, even though they are bottomed, it's just, it doesn't mean that it's ready to push up yet. Okay, now if you do get a bounce, be watchful of all those videos saying Bitcoin is going to get to 100k because it broke 24, because it broke 30k. It's not that simple. Okay, to go to 100k, it would definitely need to make some sort of range here, like it did previously in May, June, and July of 2021. Okay, So be watchful of what people say. But again, if you don't want to miss the opportunities, guys, study well the charts and use stop losses. Okay, use stop losses. If it goes up in profits, move up your stops at entry and let the trade go. Okay, if it pushes up higher, hey, great. If it doesn't, if you get stopped out, well, it was meant to go down, so you will not lose any money. Just keep it safe. All right, that's it for today, guys. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate it. And remember, like, subscribe, share, comment on the channel. It helps me grow so I can help a lot more people, okay? All right, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay blessed.